What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Tiger Tea. I'm Tyler, and today we're watching another Odd Ones Out. Growing up without cable. I think this will be fun. 'Cause I guess that's not true. There were definitely, no, I would say I had cable for the most part as a kid, but there were definitely places that I went, like family members' houses, and definitely certain situations where I didn't have cable. So I got kind of lucky, I guess, in that sense, where I did kind of get the best of both. Where I was lucky enough to watch like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and stuff as a kid, but then also enjoy the stuff that was just on like public TV, basically, yeah. So let's get into it. Make sure to like and subscribe to Odd Ones Out, and here we go.
Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu never existed. What would you be watching right now? Would you be watching this? I don't think so. You'd be watching
Probably
this
not.
box right here. A television? On this device, instead of picking what you wanted to watch and when you wanted to watch it, the television would decide all that for you.
Yep,
And
you just
instead
had
of
to turn it
watching a
on and
single
hope that
5-second
something was on that you
skippable ad in
liked.
the beginning, you'd have to watch 5 30-second long unskippable ads.
Yep.
Can you think
Awful.
of anything more annoying? An advertisement right in the middle of your show? I don't know if my parents were being cheap or trying to discourage an unhealthy habit of watching too much TV, but growing up, my parents didn't have cable television at all in the house. Now, in this modern day and age of online content, some of you are living perfectly content lives without cable. I know I am.
That's true,
But you
yeah.
have to understand, in the early 2000s, online video wasn't a thing. Yeah, YouTube was created in 2005, but what did that have? This guy at a zoo? That's lame. So being an early 2000s kid, you had to get your cartoons through the TV. And if your parents didn't pay $65 a month to get cable, then you didn't get the channels with SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, or Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Ah,
The
such
only
great
thing you got
shows.
was this green brother and sister called PBS Kids. And whatever these things were. PBS
Nah, but that was
Kids
cool,
stands
though.
for Public Broadcasting Service. Kids. That meant all the shows on PBS Kids were government or privately funded. So the shows on PBS didn't really have any commercials per se, but they did have
Yeah,
the
they
same
kinda
sponsorship ads
did.
that would play a message before every show. If you grew up on PBS Kids, then Juicy Juice
Oh, dude,
and
yes.
Where a Kid Can Be a Kid
Yup.
is just engraved in your memory. And also, every show would thank you, the viewer, for watching.
It would,
And I
yep.
think that's really nice. So, everyone watching this, you're welcome. I'm kinda glad my parents didn't buy cable. Because instead of spending hours of my time watching mindless television,
Nah, I watched
spent
so
hours of my
so
time
many cartoons.
watching television with morals and math. Yep, a lot of shows on PBS were either educational or taught you how to be a good person. The shows I'm gonna mention had pretty crazy concepts, but the conflicts in each episode were very down-to-earth and slice-of-life-y, almost like the
Yep.
shows were made for children. Like in Clifford the Big Red
Dude,
Dog.
Clifford was
It's
so
a show
good.
about this girl's dog who grew up to be the size of a freaking house.
Got really
for
big.
no reason except for the fact that the girl loved the dog so
Yeah.
much that he grew up to be a monster. So that means if your dog is normal-sized, you don't love it enough.
That's true, yeah.
It probably doesn't love you. So, yeah, a giant red dog is a pretty weird premise, but the episodes were about everyday things. Like this blue dog feels bad that he tore up his owner's sweater.
Dude,
and
I
his friends
remember
tell him to
that
just Be
episode.
honest, and he does, and everyone's happy. Or the episode where this new dog moves into town, but he's missing
I
a
remember
leg.
that
Then
episode.
Clifford and his friends have to learn that having 3 legs still means you can accomplish
Yeah,
a
you're
lot
still
of things
cool.
any normal human can do. Dog. And I rate this show a 10 out of 10. Next is Dragon Tales.
Oh,
the
dude,
show that
Dragon
made
Tales,
dragons
let's go.
kid-friendly. There's Org, he's the biggest, not so brave of heart. There's Cassie, she's so shy, but so very smart. There's Zack and Wheezy and their tales of fun. Cause you know 2 heads are better than 1. Dragon Tales, Dragon
Dude,
Tales.
the Dragon Tales song was so dope.
The show was pretty similar to Clifford. The characters would spend an episode learning everyday things like how to do a cartwheel.
I
or they
remember
would
that
try
episode.
to make it rain so they could show their friend what a rainbow looks like. And there was also this grandpa dragon who knew Spanish for some reason.
Don't come too close, niños.
And that wasn't the weirdest thing on the show, actually. There was also a dragon character in a wheelchair,
I
which, just like
maybe
Clifford,
remember
is a
that.
good character because it teaches kids that disabled people are still people who can accomplish a lot of things. But I think it's a weird combination of two things. A dragon, a mythical beast known for destroying
mean-
cities. In a
I mean, really, when you
wheelchair?
break down
If you
any
wanted to stop
cartoon,
a
it gets
dragon from
weird.
destroying your city, then you just don't install wheelchair ramps anywhere. I should stop talking. I rate the show a 10 out of 10. Now let's talk about Arthur. Here's some fun
Arthur.
trivia.
Arthur was cool.
Arthur is supposed to be an aardvark. Personally, I don't see it. Basically, it was a show about Arthur and his other furry friends learning lessons, but Arthur tended to tackle more serious subjects than the
Yeah.
other two shows. Like, they have episodes where DW hears her parents get in a fight and she worries about them getting a divorce, or the episode where Arthur Falcon punches his little sister.
I remember
and
that,
even
yeah.
having to deal with someone you know getting cancer.
What? Cancer?
The character gets treatment and lives, by the way,
Good, good, good.
because it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Next, let's talk about my favorite show on PBS Kids, Cyber Chase.
Oh, yes. Yes. Dude, Cyber Chase? Dude, Cyber Chase? Are you kidding me?
This show didn't teach kids
This
morals
was-
or how to
oh,
properly
dude, I have
treat
to watch Cyber
disabled.
Chase again.
It taught them something far more important.
I'm gonna make a note.
Math. Cyber Chase is set inside a virtual computer world, and this one character named Motherboard
Dude, Cyber Chase
supposed to
was
be the queen/protector
the
of
best
this
show.
world, but she sucks at her job because the villain of the show, Christopher Lloyd, infects her with a virus. So now these three kids have to go on adventures using math principles to thwart the bad guy's plans to save Mommy Board, Motherboard, Motherboard. Mommy. Mom, come back, Mommy, no. We need to save Mommy Board. And unlike all the other shows, this show had
Dude,
an
Cyber Chase was
overarching
so
story.
dope. It was
The
so
kids would
cool.
always get this close to saving Motherboard, but nothing they did worked.
And like
When
the
I was
different
a
like
kid, I
challenges and stuff
always
that they would
wondered
have to
how
do
much longer it
were
would
actually
be
really
until
entertaining.
They finally saved her. And they never did. The show's been going on for 16 years.
It's still
and they're
going?
still learning new math principles, trying to save
Well, with
Motherboard.
Common
I
Core,
think they're at calculus
you know.
at this point. The show is teaching
Common
you
Core ruined
slower
everything.
than an actual school. What kind of a show makes you wait 16 years for a conclusion? Cyber Chase does, and it's one of the
One
best
Piece?
shows ever created. 10 out of 10. One last show I want to bring up
Teletubbies.
is called Caillou.
Caillou.
All you need to know about Caillou is that
Dude, Caillou sucks.
Caillou is a 4-year-old and a demon.
Dude, Caillou as like a kid, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, dude. But like, there was even times as a kid where it's like, nah, Caillou's wrong. Caillou, I do not agree. I do not align myself with this child. Caillou is wrong. And then, especially as you get older, you look fondly, you look back fondly on certain shows. Look at Caillou, and it's just like, Caillou was just like, he was just like a little demon. Like he was awful.
Constantly throws a tantrum whenever he doesn't get his way. Even in his theme song, he mentions how much of a brat he is. Growing up is not so tough, except when I've had enough. And then he's crying like a child. Well, you're gonna have to grow up, Caillou. The world doesn't revolve around you. Now you might be thinking, James, this kid is 4 years old. Of course he's gonna be a brat. And I agree, but a big problem with Caillou isn't the fact that he's a brat, but it's with his spineless parents. Caillou's mom just lets him get away with everything. Whenever I misbehaved, you know what happened to me? I had to go sit in the timeout corner. You know what happens to Caillou? Nothing.
Nothing.
Not once does Caillou ever get punished. It's always his mom just being like, Caillou, what you said wasn't very nice. Now go behave, okay? 0 out of 10 with the show with just the humans. I hate it. I
Fair,
just realized
fair.
that all the shows I mentioned were animated, but there was a lot of non-animated shows that I still
Oh, dude, hold on.
watched.
Hold on. We gotta go back. We're going back, boys. Okay. Sesame Street was cool. Sesame Street was definitely like a show that I watched when I was younger. It was cool. Between the Lions, dude. Between the Lions. If you have not seen Between the Lions, you have to watch that show. That was really cool. I think that was the one where they were at like a library, right? Because the play on words is Between the Lines. And I think a lot of times it was just them going through like different stories and stuff. Zabumafu. I know that show. I can't remember the premise of it though. I don't remember the premise. Was that the one where they were in the big, like the big like cardboard fort, and like when you get inside of it, it's like way bigger than it looks, you know. I think that might be the show. If that's the show I'm thinking of, I do remember liking that show. Zoom, Zoom, wasn't Zoom like a game show almost, or like the kids would do challenges and stuff, or am I remembering that wrong? I thought it was like some sort of like a challenge show. Fetch, dude, Fetch was dope because Fetch was like somewhat animated but also live action, and this was another one where there was like solving puzzles and like also like sort of a game show in a sense. That show was dope too.
But whatever, I could just say that these shows fit the theme of my channel. Or I could make a part 2, I can do whatever I want. Now,
That's
as
fair.
a die-hard PBS fanboy, I think I speak for everyone when I say that what PBS was missing was a crossover episode. How hard would it have been for the Clifford people and the Dragon Tales people to coordinate an episode where the three-legged dog finds the dragon scale, he could dig it up out of the sand because dogs like to dig.
Sure, yeah.
This dog wouldn't be that good at digging. And then he would meet up with a wheelchair dragon and they could be best friends. I would have loved that. As much as I'm joking about it, as a kid, I actually really wanted a crossover episode.
Oh, as a kid, you would have
Clifford
lost your
and
mind.
Clifford's Puppy Days, which is another show that follows Clifford before he was interesting, when he was tiny, so before Emily Elizabeth loved him. There's a bunch of new characters that all knew Clifford when he was little, and the two shows existed in the same universe, so it wouldn't have been that unbelievable for Clifford to visit his childhood home, and then all the other characters who used to call him Small or Squirt would see him now and be like, wow! What the fuck happened to you? You see, it's funny because it's a kid's show and you wouldn't expect them to say that.
That's
I
true,
waited
that's true.
patiently
I wouldn't.
for that crossover episode, but it never came. But at least I have fan fiction. George, he wagged his tail and smiled. Clifford, it's so good to see you. He nuzzled him as a greeting.
Oh no.
Nice to see you
Oh, no.
too. It's been over 7 years since I last saw you. Yeah, it had, Clifford said happily. George turned his back to the hill. Here I come. No quotation marks, by the way. He got ready to tackle him. He punched George off.
Oh, no.
And they rolled down. Then, when they got to the bottom, George pinned Clifford, who was panting. The three looked at the two of them.
I don't like where this is
seemed to be
going.
having a staring contest, so they decided to go somewhere else. Both laughed and Clifford got off of him. He sat down and waited for George to stand up. So, what are we gonna do? The red dog said while quickly getting into a playing position. Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, no,
Hello,
we can
everyone.
stop.
I'm back. Did any of you watch these shows as a kid? That's cool, I guess. As you could probably tell, I didn't post anything at all in the month of May. That's because May is my birthday month.
Okay. This is on loop, yes. Okay. Weird. Yeah, that was great. That definitely brought back some memories. There was definitely a few of those shows that I did not remember until just this second. Great shows though, man. Like that, like really good. Like, listen, like I said, I was lucky enough that I kind of had both worlds where I watched a lot of PBS stuff, but then I also was lucky enough to have cable. So obviously, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, all that stuff. Like 4Kids, all that good stuff. So definitely, when I look back on it, I think definitely a contributing factor as to why I love cartoons and animation so much is because I was just, what's the word I'm looking for? I was just shown it so much. Exposed, that's the word I'm looking for. I was exposed to just all of it as a kid. And I watched a lot of TV as a kid. I played outside and video games and reading and all that stuff too. But I definitely watched a lot of cartoons as a kid. Still do. But yeah, man, because some of those shows, man, are incredible and they were great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you don't always have to have the like premium channels to get some good quality programming. But yeah, great video. Had a large dose of nostalgia with this. Love it. Yeah, please let me know, obviously, if you liked this Odd Ones Out video. But also, let me know what shows, maybe some PBS shows that you like. So, some of your favorite ones, maybe some of your favorite episodes from those. If your memory goes back that far, because mine does not. But yeah, that was good. Let me know what other animated stuff you want me to watch. And till next time, make sure to watch more cartoons, even public broadcasting cartoons, because those are good too.